has wedding photos on the cover.
Yeah, but that album, you did really well with that. I mean, you had two great singles out of that.
Yeah.
Now, do you find, I mean, is it, you know, to be able to talk about all that stuff, do you put a new, there seems to be a new honesty in this album. There seems to be a lot more
vulnerability, really, I think, or maybe we've kind of opened up a lot more. I think, you know, I spent years writing lyrics and being quite sort of guarded about how much of myself I was willing to reveal. Nick's contributed a lot of the lyrics on this album, and he's very direct. He writes stories or picks characters, or is absolutely autobiographical. And I think, and we also started the album with the song "Someone Else, Not Me," and it set a tone for the whole album, because that's a very, very revealing song. It's very straightforward, very simple, very honest.
Is it personal?
Yeah, it is. It's not. Maybe it's not what you would think it would be, and I would never go into details about the actual story of it. But yeah, it's a little thing that happened which started the ball rolling in my head, and where the ball ended up is where the song began.
Okay, we have that, your new video. Let's take a look at it. Now, you're talking about this new, is the freedom to make the album, you're saying, you know, Pop Trash was something you were called, under the pressure to be Duran Duran, you were, you know, had such fantastic popularity. Is there a sense of being more, have your feet in the ground for this album?
Well, it was interesting when we started making the record, because we didn't actually have a record label for the first time in 17 years.
And how does that feel?
Well, at first it was a little unnerving that we didn't have the safety net of, oh, well, we'll put that out and we'll see what happens and we'll move on to the next album. We were actually all on our own. But then when we started thinking about it, it was a great freedom for a minute to think, well, we've come this far and we can make our own record. We don't have to worry about anyone else. We can afford to just go and make it, and then we'll find a home for it, which is what we did. So we finished it and then went and shopped it to all the companies to try and find the one we really thought was most suitable, and someone who was interested in marketing Duran Duran for the songs we're doing now.
Is that a hard thing to find? I mean,
yeah.
Is it difficult? It's almost like it's a liability being
It is
so
when
unbelievably famous.
People are looking for, you know, what's selling the most right now. They're not thinking about quality of music. They're just thinking about what is getting across to the music buyers right now.
Which and the music buyers at the moment, the really active music buyers, tend to be between the ages of 15 and 21, or 12 and 20. You know, it's a very young market at the moment, and a lot of and older people have kind of said, oh, I think the charts are rubbish at the moment. Well, go out and buy some bloody records and make the charts what you want them to be.
Do something about it.
That's exactly, you know, that's exactly what it is. That's what it's all about. But as Warren said, I mean, the whole industry is geared to this very rapid turnover. A band or an artist who maybe makes 2 records and then disappears completely. And record companies traditionally are very difficult to get to kind of to work in more than one way. So if a company is geared to that turnover, their marketing works has a certain kind of dynamic to it. Their A&R has a certain sort of time scale in their mind of when they've got to find new acts, when they've got to bring them in, when they've got to develop them. And we weren't fitting into that at all with our old record company, and they were kind of starting to look at us as a bit like a catalogue album. That's a catalogue band, you know, which really didn't suit us, and it was hard for us to find a major record company who could get enthusiastic about what we stood for and what we were doing. But, you know, we had faith in the music, and we played it, we shopped it around, and you know, suddenly there's Hollywood Records.
Yeah. Now, these songs are they're very classic songs, they seem. I mean, considering all the things that you were saying, I mean, there's so many trends, but this is like, These are just like songs that you can imagine being around for a long time.
Well, you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, the one thing that we've always been consistent with as Duran Duran, I think, is our songwriting and trying to keep a quality of melodies and arrangements and songs that actually mean something to people. You know, things that communicate ideas or touch people emotionally, and lyrically too, obviously. And I think with this album, we really set out, in the face of adversity of some of the other things that are around at the moment, to really try and write something that was special to us and had, you know, a slightly deeper meaning to it.
Even though we are influenced always by what's going on now, modern music, the more interesting, innovative stuff, you know, we come from a time where there was great songwriters. You know, we loved John Lennon, we loved the Stones, we loved David Bowie. That stuff's always going to be with us.
Yeah. And is there a sense that people don't care about that stuff anymore? I mean, the corporations that are the big business that are the records.
I think there's a lot of people, there's an awful lot of people in the industry who feel quite sad that they don't have these great icons at the moment. You know, they don't have many people who've been around for a while. They don't have anybody who they like to listen to a lot of the time. You know, and but you know, things always work in a kind of in a reactionary way. I mean, it's what happened we saw it in the 70s when you had these massive sort of rock bands had developed, these kind of what we call dinosaur bands, and you had punk rock, which was just an instinctive reaction of people to that. And I think that will happen because I think you've got, you know, the artists you've got around now. There's a fashion for manufactured artists. You know, people who've been put together by management companies, who've been taught to dance, who maybe even don't sing their own songs. It's almost acceptable not to sing on your own record now.
I know. It used to be when they uncovered you, people freaked out.
We're such pioneers.
Exactly.
Exactly. I mean, it's perfectly acceptable now not to sing live and to mime to yourself live.
Yeah.
While you're on stage. Loads of bands do it, and nobody really turns their hair anymore. But I mean, that you know, that's not going to last forever.
No, I think things are changing already dramatically in the music business, actually. I mean, if you look at the internet, I mean, the effect that's having is really remarkable.
Yeah, because they can't control it anymore. People
No.
can go to where they want to go.
And also, you know, young acts that maybe have a real difficulty getting a deal can put their stuff up on the internet and communicate with people worldwide and find themselves an audience, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, there needs to be that kind of portal for artists.
And it's a freedom. We're going to take a break. Stay where you are, please. More with my special guest, Duran Duran. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Another sound. Can you hear me now? This is planet Earth. You're looking at planet Earth. The danger light. I'll pop that bridge.
It's our Toronto connection.
Sure is, yeah. We filmed that video at the Maple Leaf Gardens.
Maple Leaf Garden, yeah.
Yeah, how come? Just interesting.
How come? Because I think it's cheaper than doing it in New York.
There you are. You're on.
Yeah, we
A lot
were.
of filmmakers come up here to
They
make movies,
do.
don't
We're
they?
Hollywood North,
That's
and we
right.
love it. It's a wonderful thing.
Cronenberg's from Toronto.
Yes, he
isn't
is. He's one of our
We
big
love him.
filmmakers. Now, speaking of film, you used video. I guess you were the people who put your landmark on video. You used it better than anybody else. How are you dealing with the internet and things? Are you using that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the internet's very important to us, as with many artists now. We have a site, duranduran.com, which we first put up in '97, went through some changes, and now we've just put up a new version. And I think it's probably a lot more user-friendly now. I mean, a lot's happened on the internet in the last 3 years. So we're very excited about it. It's very direct access to the audience, you know, and for them, hopefully, to us.
And you would get the connection. I mean, I remember when the whole video thing was happening, there was this great hue and cry among some of the legends going, how can they do this? You know, music is going to change. It's just going to become about image. It's not going to become about music. But you put great music and you put it on video. You're prepared for the other challenge?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's always challenges coming along. I think we learned a lesson from that, and now it's like if you can't kind of get on it, you get left behind. Really,
Yeah.
it's quite simple. But to do it with some kind of integrity as well, so you're not just following in somebody else's footsteps or doing it for the sake of doing it because you think you ought to, but finding a reason why it works and figuring out how to make it work for you.
I mean, actually, Duran Duran were the first artists to digitally download a song for sale over the internet. That was back in '97 with a song called Electric Barbarella, which at the time we didn't actually think that much about. We thought, well, this is interesting, see where this goes. But now when you look at it and the big arguments over, you know, Napster and all the other things that you can download off the internet, it was really the beginning of something.
Yeah, but you've always been on the forefront, though.
And we were the first ones to use an internet company to make our video. Some of the footage you showed earlier of Someone Else Not Me is a video made by an internet design company who've done our Duran Duran site.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've been around, you've done the whole thing. It's been over 20 years, hasn't it?
Yep.
And you're still on the forefront. Let me ask you, what keeps you going? I mean, you're the two original members. You're a long-time member.
Yes.
What keeps you still doing it?
Well, it's a great job. It's an amazing job to have for starters. I mean, I don't really want to do anything else with my life. I really like being in Duran Duran. I think that we make great music together, and that's a very inspiring thing. And I don't think I get anything like the kind of satisfaction and thrill from any other job that I get from writing songs with these guys and getting up there, recording it, and playing it to people. It's an amazing thing, and I think, you know, I don't particularly want to do anything else with my life. This is great, this is fantastic. I just want to do this really well.
I think there is a reason why a lot of artists just keep going and going and going. I mean, look at Frank Sinatra, and on the rock side, look at the Stones, you know. I mean, they don't have to go out and tour now, but they do, and I think it's because they love doing that.
And they know they can do it so much better than a hell of a lot of other people out there. And you really do. You watch MTV or you listen to the radio, and you hear a lot of rubbish, as well as some good things. And you think, well, God, if that's out there, if that's doing it, well, why shouldn't I go and do it as well?
Yeah. The thing is, I mean, getting back to the pop trash insult from years ago, but you made great music, though. The music you did the image, you did the glamour, you did the whole thing, but the music was still the core.
It's very difficult for people to focus on the music in the 80s. Any band that had a lot of hairspray and makeup and that was influenced by the glam thing, it was very easy for people to just kind of say, no, it's not really what we want. It's not about music. They're just trying to get over in a different way than with their music, which is not true.
No, I mean, I think it's the only way you do survive is by having strong songs. I mean, you know, we play things in our set live from 20 years ago, as well as things that people haven't even heard yet. And it's great being able to go back through a catalogue of music and hand-pick songs each time and think, oh, which one should we play this time, you know?
I think strong visuals do sometimes take the emphasis away from the audio. It's like a lot of times when I'm watching a video, I might not like a song, but when I hear it on the radio, I'll take it in a completely different way.
I've just been thinking, I just think there's a lot of crap around there at the moment. Well, I think that's more to do with the core kind of thing of the band. If you think about the sounds that people are making now, it's incredible. The standard is amazing, actually. I mean, everything, the things what the charts are full of. I mean, there's no space for bad sound at the moment, which means that people who listen to music have really been educated with their ears to know what works and what doesn't.
What part of it do you think is crappy?
I just think that the